Josh Giddey reports with the Chicago Bulls are heating up as now, with there being negotiations going into September, things have now taken a wild turn with the Chicago Bulls in regards to Josh Giddey, is now an Eastern Conference rival, is looking to steal Giddey away, while they're also focused on their own restricted free agent plans that, if it works out as now expected, the Bulls have a real chance at losing Josh Giddey to an absolutely awful organization, and we are going to discuss all of this, break it all down, discuss the chances of Josh Giddey now actually not returning to the Chicago Bulls, and what the expectation of a deal is going to be. But before we do that, guys, if you're part of that 72% that's not subscribed to Bulls Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily Chicago Bulls updates. We got a lot of great videos coming out right now on everything Chicago Bulls as the Giddey saga continues into the same month that training camp begins, and now things are definitely starting to get a very, very little bit nervous, to say the least. But look, jumping into it, as we know, Josh Giddey really is the franchise player of the Chicago Bulls at this point. The way he finished out the season made it evidently clear that this is the guy who the Bulls want to build around. He's still very young and has a lot of room to grow, and we've seen him consistently get better and better. And since the Bulls traded away Zach Lavine and Giddey had the ball in his hands a lot more, we saw a lot of good things from Giddey with a ton of excellent production out of the former Oklahoma City Thunder guard who really wasn't getting a chance to shine there. He's gotten his chance to shine in Chicago, and things have worked out impressively for Giddey, especially after the All-Star break. But just looking at everything that's been going on with Giddey, it was recently talked about by Eric Pincus, who mentioned if Josh Giddey can get the Bulls to make the fourth year a player option, he should take the deal that he has on the table. Chicago may not be willing, and that may still be the best choice that Josh Giddey can make with that 4-year, $80 million contract. The Bulls appear to believe they hold all the leverage with Josh Giddey, offering a contract thought to be in the $80 million range over 4 seasons. The team seems to think that that's too much for him to reject to take the 1-year, $11.1 million qualifying offer. The 22-year-old could risk a 1-year qualifying offer and hope for a breakout season, but history suggests that such gambles rarely pay the desired dividends in the NBA. The stalemate may resolve soon, but it's challenging to see Giddey landing anywhere else this coming season outside of Chicago. Now, all this being said, Giddey had a very nice year last year, finishing the season averaging 14.6 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. A move that seemed like a mistake quickly turned around for the Bulls as Giddey had a nice season where he also had his best defensive year and his best three-point shooting year as well, shooting up to 38% from 3 and 39 in the corner threes while shooting 46% from the field as well. Giddey mixed it up from all angles and was able to be one of the best playmakers in the Eastern Conference last season, while also pulling down more rebounds than really any guard in basketball outside of Josh Hart, and averaged the most rebounds for a guard in basketball last season as well. Look, as we know, Josh Giddey is an absolutely great talent, and he's only gotten better as time has went on. Once Lavine was gone, Josh Giddey stepped in and became the focal point of the offense. He put up 21 points per game in those 19 games that he played, getting nearly 11 rebounds and 9 assists as well. He shot 50% from the field and 45.7% from 3. His true shooting was a 62%, which is absolutely phenomenal. He averaged 2.4 offensive rebounds a night out of those 11 rebounds. Josh Giddey was straight up a monster in the second half of the season, or that post-trade deadline all-star break part of the season. Things looked really, really good for Josh Giddey, and the Bulls, they started to see some success surrounding Josh Giddey as well. But Giddey, because of that, and just because of everything, he wants a contract similar to those of Jalen Suggs and Emmanuel Quickley. You look at Jalen Suggs' deal, it's a front-loaded contract, meaning he's getting paid the most in the first couple of years, with the most money being paid in his first season, where he's getting $35 million, before it slowly depreciates to 32, 29, 26, and then 26 once again. Now, Suggs is on that deal because obviously there's a few different guys who the Magic have to pay, including Paulo Banchero, and then obviously now Desmond Bane, and a few other talents as well, such as Franz Wagner, who's on a big-ass contract as well. So when you consider everything for this situation, it does make sense. So obviously this is the contract Giddey wants, and Giddey's better than Jalen Suggs, but at the same time, he's not getting this. This was a different offseason. Things were different. And the same thing goes for Emmanuel Quickley, who Josh Giddey's a better player than as well. Quickley's on a flat-loaded contract, meaning it's the same amount of money every single year, $32.5 million. Giddey wants somewhere in the $30 million range, but because there's no one who could really pull him away, because no team has the cap space to offer a $30 million contract, this is where things get tricky for Josh Giddey and for him to try to have any leverage going forwards with the Chicago Bulls. However, we're now seeing reports where effectively Giddey is starting to see another option sort of emerge from a team that does not win a whole lot of games, but is the only team with cap space left in the NBA, and that is the Brooklyn Nets. As many people know, the Brooklyn Nets have their own situation with Cameron Thomas, who's also a restricted free agent, trying to get money, and it's not working. The same is going on with Quentin Grimes as well, and Jonathan Kuminga. They're the 4 best free agents left. They're the 4 big restricted free agents, and really, they all want more money than, and all these teams, none of them are budging. Like the Bulls, the Nets, the Warriors, the Sixers, they're all like, well, if none of us budge, then they're not going to be able to stand anything. Like, well, they did this, so you guys should. No, none of them are going to do it. For that reason as well, they know it. They're all just going to stand still and wait for these guys to either be like, you know what, I'll take a smaller deal, or decide to accept that qualifying offer, which is one of the biggest risks a young player could take in the NBA. You get injured or you don't play well, you're screwed. So that's the fear. I mean, it's obviously sucky to accept if you're Josh Giddey, but you get to still be 26, 27 years old if you're Giddey in this situation who's a bit young, and sort of decide, you know what, all right, I'll take 4 years, $80 million. Overall, probably with agent fees, taxes, all that, he's getting like $41 million of that. Still great money, and then you're 26, 27, playing excellent basketball with the Bulls. Teams are you're gonna have suitors. It's gonna be a new CBA. There's gonna be free agency. It's gonna be back. The NBA likes the big free agent signing stuff. It's good for ratings, so they're gonna try to get that back in the new CBA. So with all that considered, these guys are going to get good deals down the line. It's just, why would you want to wait when you want more money? But it's not going to happen. But Giddey, that I agree with Pincus. He should try to get a player option on that final deal. So, you know, I'll accept it. Let's end this saga. Let's get things going. But I need a player option. I honest to God think that Arturas Karnisovas will be like, you know what, sure, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. Let's do it. So I truly believe that. And now when we look at the Brooklyn Nets and what they have going for them, Andrew Hanlon mentioned that Brooklyn said goodbye to Towson Awoma, a 6'8" forward who was on a 2-year, 2-way deal with the team. Awoma wasn't a lock for the roster this season, but he did average nearly 10 points per game across 28 games for the Nets last year as a 24-year-old. There was certainly some impetus for letting go of a young player who showed a bit of upside. And on top of that, while the move could simply be a way to open another 2-way roster spot, Brian Lewis of the New York Post had an interesting take that Awoma's release could mean Brooklyn is open to taking on an unwanted contract if it means adding future draft capital. It's unlikely, but the Nets could be one step closer to making an offer to Bulls restricted free agent Josh Giddey, which, if nothing else, could get the ball rolling on a potential conclusion to this long-running saga, because if they offer a contract, the Bulls will likely match. And they also have their own restricted free agent to think about in Cameron Thomas. Thomas is pretty much a pure isolation scorer, and I've said for a while that I think he's more of a sixth-man type player than a real true, top option for a team. He put up 24 points per game last year, 4 assists, and 3 rebounds per game. The shooting numbers were not really inspiring, shooting 44% from the field and 35% from 3. So I don't really see Cameron Thomas as some long superstar piece, and there's been a lot of talk that he actually will accept a $6 million qualifying offer and become an unrestricted free agent next year. An idea that I am curious about because I don't know how much money he'll be making next free agency either, but it definitely is something that's been mentioned as on the table for the team. You look at the Nets, their cap table's pretty good here. They're not really paying anyone a ton of money outside of Michael Porter Jr. for this year and then next season. And then outside of that, we just look at how everything looks, and they're the only team with money right now with $14 million in cap space, which isn't enough to get Giddey, but you can continue to move stuff around and figure out ways. And then on top of that, you could also use the fact that they're way far out of that first or second apron, that they're going to be in good position, and they're only going to be in better position going forwards as well. Guys, what do you think about all this? Do you think there's a chance the Nets could try to steal away Josh Giddey? On top of that, do you think that Josh Giddey will accept that 4-year, $80 million contract? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I'll catch you later.